channel, 13 Moons Oracle. Jade Crystal here, JC, coming in with a message for the collective. Those that identify as Divine Feminine, remember there is no gender in the Oracle. In that way, it's whatever you resonate most with and what you're anchoring with. That just need a kind of check-in about their shadows, some encouragement, and some messages here. So let's just pull some of these cards. It's popped out there. Okay, let's look. I feel like you have Divine Feminine have been going through a really hard time lately. Just, it's hard to explain. So I feel like joy inside of you, and I feel calmness and peace and clarity. So you know who you are, but I feel like maybe that's at odds with the world around you. Like your outside environment isn't really mirroring exactly who you are to you yet, and you're kind of in this state of energy where you're like, oh, I've put so much work in, like why am I not attracting what I need? And there's just some cleanup that still needs to happen. Necrophilia, comfort in the darkness, necrophilia. So this is a new deck. I'm just going to look that up. I don't know familiar with that word, to be honest. Let's look. You have found safety in the shadows. You may have diminished yourself to avoid attention, and maybe you have felt invisible or overlooked in conversations and decision makings because no one seems to hear you. Perhaps you have retreated into the background, as observing feels much safer than interacting with others. Are you scared to speak up for fear of ridicule or confrontation? Moving within the darkness can help you be less afraid to the unknown. It can be a place of safety while you study your environment and build your confidence. However, if you flee into darkness, the shadow may obscure the solutions. Imagine yourself as planted seed. Once it chooses to grow, it moves towards a light. It is time for you to heal and grow by stepping into the shadows and into the sunlight. When you feel pulled to visit the darkness, it is to find harmony and balance within your heart and soul, not to hide from the world. Turn on the light and it's time to grow. So as I was reading that, I was actually seeing that your Divine Masculine needs to come into balance here. And now that might take that, it could be physically, or that could be what I'm seeing as your inner masculine right now. And what your Divine Feminine has done is pulled you into the darkness for that harmony and that balancing. But your Divine Masculine yearns to speak up, and if this speaks to you, you can look at the last reading that I posted for 1/1, because it was talking a lot about the throat chakra activations that we're going through as a collective right now. And so it's just time to speak up. It's time to release any fears of ridicule or confrontation. Like what other people think of you is none of your business. You compete with you. Well, you shouldn't even be competing, but do you know what I mean? Like you can compare yourself to yourself, and stop comparing yourself to others. Stop comparing yourself to others' journeys. Stop comparing yourself to where you think you should be, and just trust in your divine timing. The false matrix has this idea out there that we should be in a certain direction, in a certain path, and have certain markers by a certain age, because that's how they keep us stuck. And that's how they keep us stuck in aging and myths of aging and all kinds of false ideas about the world. And then when we follow that, we start creating the world that the Matrix wants us to create. And you are feeling challenged right now because you are being called to create something different. And so in creating something different, you've got to let go of the fear and the ridicule. Well, you don't have to do anything, but this is how you will best be served. If you can let go of fear, ridicule, comparing yourself to others, and just validate yourself. Get your validation from yourself, from Creator, from the universe. And they're showing you all kinds of signs, and I know that you're seeing this, and I feel like the collective I'm talking to, you're on the cusp. You're on the cusp of like this final push into your ultimate confidence, into your ultimate sensation of your worth, and really exhibiting that into the physical. Because where you're blocked, and what I spoke about at the beginning of the reading, is why your inner spiritual manifestations aren't matching your external manifestations, is because you aren't speaking up about them. Your words, there's something going on in the throat chakra there. Your words aren't matching that. The way you speak about yourself. Really pay attention to how you feel and talk about yourself when you're in work environments, when you're out in social settings, and just notice those little digs that you take at yourself, those criticisms, anything that's still lingering in the subconscious that might be blocking you or negative, and identify them and then bring them to the light to purge them. Okay? You're a planted seed. So like your genetics, your coding, your frequency, Creator knows what they're doing. They made you for a reason. And I always say this, you've probably heard me say it before. The oak tree knows it's an oak tree. The rose seed knows it's a rose. Like, it's not arguing with it. We are the only consciousness that argues with it. So why are you arguing with what you are? And maybe there's some fear here that you're going to have to leave behind things. Maybe you're going to have to leave behind a job, and you're going to have to leave behind some relationships. For some of you, because this is a collective reading, so just take what resonates. Yes, some of you will have to do that, but I promise you, in those sacrifices, you are going to be rewarded with what you have truly been praying for and craving. The things that we are called to give up, although they may feel like something's being taken away from us, or it's so hard, or it's so annoying, sometimes those things come up from our subconscious. Your angels and your guides know you best, and then they have access to the whole creation of everything, and the Keshiks and the Wheel of Time, so they know what people, places, relationships to take away to align you with what is actually going to match, what actually is going to stick, what actually is going to be fulfilling, and that's what's going on for you. But you need to allow it. And so some things are going to need to dissolve, some things are going to be needed to let go, and some things are going to need to be just to exit your life, and you would want to trust in the doors that are opening and the doors that are closing for yourself, so that you can really step into this greatness that you have been calling for yourself. I can hear you. I can hear you praying at night for difference, for change. But the resistance to that, because we cling to what is familiar, that resistance needs to be released, to surrender. Absolute surrender. Let it go. I know you know what I'm talking about. I know you know what you need to release right now, whether it's a relationship or a job. It's going to be different for each of you. It might be a combination of both. Reimagine. Define who you are, create who you want to be. So this has been a theme in my readings for months now, and again, it just came up in the 1-1 reading, so if you want to go back and read that, I'll try to link it in the description. Now, reimagine your life. So if you're not where you want to be right now, what is the gap? What is the variance? Sit down and look at what you have visioned out. And if you haven't written it down, that's what I've been talking about for months. Check out one of those other readings, but write it down, get clear to the universe, because the universe cannot bring you what you want if you don't tell the universe what you want. And so we need to tell the universe what we want. We need to name it, to claim it, and we need to get it there and go back and visualize it and check it out once in a while, and even remind ourselves about it, and then refine it, add to it, take away things that aren't working, or take away things that have manifested and be grateful for that. Add gratitude to it, but start to reimagine it. Who are you? Define it. Sit and vision it with your higher self. Go into meditation, meet with your higher self, meet with your guides, and then meet with your future self. What do they look like? You've heard me talk about this too. What do they look like? What do they talk like? What do they act like? How do they spend their money? How do they spend their time? How do they care for their body? How do they act in relationships? What is the cadence of their voice? What is their confidence level? How do they walk in a room? How do they show up for their vocation, their purpose, their action for others? How do they show up in service? Get clear on all of it. You want to be detailed, but you also need to not be attached to those details. Okay? So as detailed as you can while fostering detachment, but really imagining that. And so those of you that have not done this, that have heard this guidance but have not been doing it, sit down and do it. Draw it out if you need to. Do a mind map, however you want to. I have it in my phone with beautiful emojis, and I have it like artistically anchored out in something that's pleasurable for me to go back and look at and really vision, and make sure you feel it. You're not just thinking it and naming it. It's a sensational body. You're embodying what you want to envision. What would it feel like? Bring in all of your senses. What would your environment look like if you've had that manifested? Just get it envisioned. And if you have a trouble in visioning and visualizing, because some of you can feel that block, just remember you are already doing it. We are already doing these skills. When we say we can't, it's not true, because I'm pretty sure that you can imagine all the things that you scare yourself with. Pretty sure you can imagine when you go back and you replay a memory and you criticize yourself for all the things that you're doing wrong. And if you're doing that, stop that, please. Let go of that. Ask your soul to realign that programming so that you don't do that anymore, and that you show up as your best friend. But the point of this is that you are visualizing. Right there, you were visualizing when you were going back over and over and over a scenario. So allow yourself to come through any blocks that say you cannot vision. And yes, you can, because you're just compartmentalizing skills and gifts for certain times and behaviors. So if you can imagine the worst, or you can review a situation, you can vision your future. Okay, it's about trusting it. Sometimes when I would go up and talk to my higher self, when I first started my awakening journey, my future self, I would kind of, like, my ego was so trained, it would scoff, like, oh, how do I know this is real? I'm probably just imagining it. Even if you are, divinity, because you opened the door, because you had a mustard seed size of faith and you still did it and you still tried it, divinity still was able to step in and guide the process. And it'll get stronger and stronger and stronger, even if it did start with imagination. Okay, so that's really important. World shadow, veiled desires are reawakening. So you've been suppressing desires that long held. So there's things that when you first had your awakening and when you first started on this journey that you really wanted, and you've seen them so clearly, and you were like, oh, this is going to happen for me, and you went so hard in, and it motivated you to take all the steps to come into this awakening and the spiritual disciplines, and to uncover all kinds of different capacities, and go seek out courses, and go seek out the things that would awaken you to your soul and your gifts and your sovereignty. But then some of those things didn't manifest right away, and for some of you it's been years, decades, and some of you have pushed those desires down because you're, okay, well, I guess it's not for me because it didn't manifest, but it just wasn't in divine timing yet. And there was spiritual maturity, spiritual wisdom, spiritual downloads, initiations that you had to go through to be able to reclaim some of these aspects of yourself to actually be the person who can birth the manifestation that you wanted. And some of those things are being revived now. So for some of you, you might already be seeing that visions that you had a long, long time ago of your future are starting to manifest now in the physical. And then for others of you, those desires are starting to rise up because your divine timing has come into play, but you're suppressing them down because it hurts so much in the not having them that you are actually blocking them and keeping them down. So if that's you, talk to Holy Spirit, talk to Creator, and get into alignment with divinity and ask for them to clear those patterns and those blocks and allow those things to rise. And again, you're not responsible for the how. The universe and Creator is responsible for the how. You are responsible for the visioning. So name it, feel it, see it. Bring all your senses into it. What will it look like? What will it feel like? What is your highest vision of your life and yourself? What do you want most in this world? But then also say, I surrender this to you, Creator. So you're not attached to it, but you are allowing yourself to vision it exactly how you would want it. If you could have everything your way, right? And then let the world, or Creator, the universe, take it over and refine it for you and birth it into existence. The bigger picture. See all sides without contradiction. So we're meant to come here and experience challenges. We are meant to come here and sometimes think we want something and then not have it. But when we partner with divinity and we understand that everything is of our highest good, and when we don't get something we think that we want, but we surrender to, I know that my guides and my angels and my divine team knows me best, and they know what is best for me, and they also know my soul purpose and my soul contracts if I can't remember them fully right now. And I trust that that is birthing through me. And when you come into that surrendered state, when you come into that bigger picture thinking, everything starts to manifest for your ease. Even when you go through a challenge, even if it's emotional, even if it's annoying, even if it's frustrating, even if it's triggering, but you bring it back to divinity and you say, like, how I'll work through this trigger. When was I last triggered? Where did this trigger come from? What is it within me that doesn't feel whole or enough, or that I'm seeking from this experience, from this person, from this thing, that I think I need it so bad, but obviously divinity knows what I need and they've blocked it from me for a reason. When you come into that energetic line, oh my goodness, you are just, there's no way you cannot win, because then you start to see rejection as protection, and you start to understand. And later on, when you stay on this faithful track, later on you have full circle moments where you are actually shown why that thing did not work out for you, why that wasn't good for you, and later on you'll look at it and be like, whoa, I really thought I wanted that, and now that I see it, like, the future has come and I see how that expressed itself and how that actually turned out, that never would have aligned for me. And all these other beautiful things happened to me, and I'm in this situation now, and that never would have been a fit. And so that's why I didn't get it, even though at that time I really felt like I needed it. So there's that combination there of, like, visualizing and allowing your desires to come forth and then surrendering them so that they can be refined and match you perfectly. And that's how a spiritual path, that even though the collective is all going through our own finer layers of this, this is how that spiritual path becomes something more for you and more personalized to you. Okay, let's look. Oh, my legs. Oh, I just gotta move here. Oh, I wonder if you can hear me. I'm gonna put my headset in. I hope you can hear me. It's probably better though. Okay, so let's look. Stress. Freedom from fight, flight, or freeze. So you guys are actually coming in to this balancing. So you might already be where I talked about, and for some of you, if you're not, then you're coming into that. But you are coming out of fight, flight, or freeze mentality. You are coming out of survival mode. Things are manifesting more easily for you. Your manifestations are sticking, which is another sign of the divine timing coming in, and that why this might be the time that these things that didn't come but you had seen so powerfully in the past, they're coming now, right? As we come out of fight, flight, or freeze and survival mentalities, we come out of scarcity and we start to have more of an abundant mindset. And the collective I'm talking to, I can feel the gratitude coming out of you. You're so grateful that even when things aren't seemingly going your way or you're having a challenge, you're still grateful. You're so grateful because you've seen how much you've overcome by partnering with divinity, and you can lean back into that and say, oh my gosh, thank you. I know my angels have got me here. I know that cycle I talked about. I know that like if something is blocked for me, later on I see why it was blocked, and if it was meant for me and I want it to, it just comes into existence, and it helps me refine what I am calling in, and it helps me refine my visions when I have those divine redirections, that we'll call them. Okay, now some of you do need to just manage your stress a little bit better. So just really looking at habits. What are you feeding yourself? How are you treating your body? Are you putting like a lot of chemicals on your body still through cosmetics, through foods, through different things? I mean, it's Christmas where I am, and all these readings are timeless. Just happened to be Christmas, so there was a lot of chemicals in the foods, and there was a lot of sugar to be had, and there was a lot of different foods. And so that time of year I kind of get a little bit imbalanced with that, but then I always come back and do some detoxes after, and I always come back and just get my body under rest. And I feel like the last 6 months have been really heavy cycle of integration, and so some of that was actually really hard to go through. Like, it was hard to stay into discipline of like my breath work, my yoga, and the things that usually bring my nervous system into regulation. And so I had to really adapt them and just do little moments of them wherever I felt inclined to just allow them, to change and to not be so rigid with them, but to still get them in. And then I integrated new things, right? So like peppermint tea was really good for me, L-theanine, to bring down my cortisol. We just came out of the year of the snake, and so there was a massive shedding, and I felt like a lot of the things that were causing stress that I maybe thought weren't causing stress, that I was okay because I was strong enough to manage them, they were actually just coming to the light, and they were really being shown to me like, oh, these were actually causing me a lot more stress than I realized, and I've got to create a new system of management for these. And so that might have been what arose for you at the end of this wood snake year at the time of this filming, although these are timeless. So whenever you are watching this, you could have just come out of a snake shedding season on time to heal. Let's see. Okay, so Turkey Spirit, give with gratitude and grace. And like I said, we just came out of the holidays where I am at the time of this filming, so there's a lot of gratitude, there's a lot of graceful energy around, and just looking at the year, reflection of the year, and seeing how much work and growth had actually come in. What were the things that I accomplished and I'm proud of myself? What was working for me and what wasn't working for me? Doing those kinds of reflections every once in a while, I like to do them every few months, is just really, really good for you to really stay on track and really understand if anything has distracted you and brought you out of alignment with what you're visioning and trying to call in. Because sometimes things get blocked from us too, because we start going one way and then it gets hard, or we get, ooh, new shiny thing, and then we go down this direction. Especially as Starseeds, I find we're this multi-passionate, and there's a lot of things in life that we end up liking, and we can just be kind of taken off course. And so it's really good to do those reflections, plus it brings us back to gratitude and grace. And like I said, gratitude every day should always be a daily practice, I believe, because it's just so nourishing, and it helps us really put into perspective. Like, if we get too far down a rabbit hole thinking like, oh, this isn't working out, and I really wanted this, and I feel like I've been trying to manifest these things for years, and they're not really happening, and they're not really anchoring, but I'm kind of seeing glimmers of them. Gratitude can help rebalance that out and be like, hey, but all of this other stuff is manifesting, and I don't need to put so much pressure on myself, because look how well I've already done. And if I relax and partner with divinity, it comes in faster, because you can remember those cycles from previous reflections. Trust in the magic. So there is magic rippling through all of this and in your life, and that's the divinity that you've partnered with. But sometimes we can just, our ego can still, no matter how much spiritual work we've done and how much spiritual purging and clearing and how aligned with soul, we can still get impatient. We can still want things to come quicker than they're happening, and we can forget to trust in the magic. We can forget to see the magic. We can also forget to see the magic in ourselves. So the group of collective I'm talking to, you've been on the spiritual path for so long that you're actually not even seeing how beautiful and magnificent your spiritual gifts are anymore, because you're just so used to them. And some of you haven't had a reflection of how magnificent they are from your outer environments. So you're actually also kind of doubting them and being like, well, am I imagining that all this beautiful energy is coming through me? Like, I know I love my realms and the inner worlds, but like, why can't other people see it? Because it's not manifesting the physical. So I feel like there's that kind of train of thought of thinking. And I think you just have to come back to the magic and understand that as starseed light workers, also, some of us are anchored in really, really dense areas where it really needed to see the light, and it really needed to see the unique frequency and love and perspective of life that you bring. But you are actually anchored into an area and an environment where there's not a lot of people like you, maybe not even one. And so it can feel very isolating, feel very lonely, but trust me, people are waking up at massive accelerated levels right now, and more of your soul tribe is going to be coming in, magnetizing to you. So this cycle is actually coming to an end. So keep trusting in the magic, keep dating yourself, seeing yourself if you're all by yourself, if you don't have family or friends around you, and keep going out and doing the things that you love. Don't be afraid to do them alone. If you feel unsafe, go correct those safety patterns. Go take a self-defense class. Go put some things in place that you do feel safe, that you can go out. Just maybe don't go out past a certain time or late at night, like that kind of stuff. And get yourself out and about in the world so that you can go out and do the things that you love, so you can meet people that are like you. Right? If you like to kayak, if you like to hike, if you like to do art classes, if you want to learn about pottery or take acting classes or comedy shows, like whatever it is, but get out there and start exploring in all the things that you like, because that will bring your soul tribe into you faster. Okay, and then anchor that grace and that gratitude, like I said. So grace is being able to have the humility to know that, yes, there is a lot of beauty going on in my life right now, and even if it's not exactly what I wanted yet, that vision is coming for me. Don't lose the faith. Believe in yourself, and just be grateful for what it is that has manifested for you, and look back at all the things you thought you want. Because this life that you're having right now, I guarantee the collective that has found this, they wanted this life, and they called it in a long time ago. And so try to remember, when is it that you were not like this, and that the life that you have now is something that you called in, and then show gratitude for that, and show gratitude for everything you've ever received in your life, every gift, every connection, every moment. It'll just really be such a powerful practice for you. And maybe do those like rampages of appreciation. I know that is actually a term from Ask and It Is Given book by Jerry and Esther Hicks, but like do a rampage of appreciation for everything you've ever received, past, present, future, even in other lives, or gifts and skills that have come through, and just do those every once in a while, especially when you need that pick-me-up and that boost, because that's magic. Okay, you're coming through a healing cycle right now. All of this is the last little bits of healing that you can do to kind of clean up your field and like lock things into place, and so that you can step into your next levels. There's a full moon in 48 hours, and so this is very connected to that full moon energy. As this full moon comes in, again, timeless reading, so how quantum energetics work is time works in a spiral. So at the time that I'm doing this reading, even if it's 48 hours from the full moon, we're still pulling in energies from the full moon, which is helping us, and we'll pull those energies into this reading, into your frequency, no matter when you find this. So I think that's so interesting, and we're going to look at some of the universal laws that we want to kind of connect to and bring into balance to find more harmony in our experience right now. So the universal law of desire, the universal law of authenticity, and the universal law of gratitude. So gratitude, double down. We just talked about that. Do some rampages of gratitude. Go back, past, present, future, kind of things that you're grateful for now, and just have a huge outpouring of gratitude, and just sit in that frequency and allow yourself to feel it. Don't just name it, don't just speak it, like feel it in your body. Let yourself be moved by emotion for how grateful that you are for all these blessings that you've had in your life, these healings, these things you've overcome, things that you've released that were really toxic for you, how you're still here, you're still standing after everything you've been through. Because these souls that I'm talking to in this collective, the reason that you anchor such heavy energies right now is because you have been through it. You have been through trauma. And also, Creator and the angels are saying you were never alone. Okay, so let that be part of your gratitude. You were never alone. And some of you are in a spiritual isolation right now, like I talked about, being anchored in dense areas where you need to anchor the light, and there's not a lot of people around you, but you're never alone. You are never alone. Like when you feel those pockets of loneliness, because I know a lot of you are very confident and will go out and do stuff alone, but you just have pockets of loneliness, which is normal. We're humans. We want relationship. But as you sit down and feel into the frequencies around you, feel all your ancestors around you, feel all your angels around you, feel Creator with you, and knowing this, because if you found this reading, you are highly advanced spiritually. You're very advanced old souls. And so you know what you've overcome. You know your gifts, your skills, your abilities. You know how to alchemize dark, heavy energies. And sometimes you're like, oh gosh, will it ever stop? Well, that's kind of part of your gifts. You can alchemize these things. And the faster you bring them into divinity, the faster you alchemize them. And the more you alchemize, the more other people wake up, and then the more help you have alchemizing. So that is also going on for you. But as you feel into this, you'll realize you are not alone, that you do not walk alone ever, and you will be able to, what's the word I keep looking for? It's like you can create it on your own. You're self-sustaining. You actually have the capacity to energetically create any emotional resource or nourishment that you need from your connection with Creator. There's a process of divine rooting that I teach that's you plug in from Soul Star to Earth Star, and it does that automatically for you every day. And then also calling back your power and giving back any power that you may have knowingly or unknowingly taken, and calling back any power you may have knowingly or unknowingly taken every single day, or I like to do it every day, but at least once a week, because there's so much power struggles going on and so much siphoning. And you, divine feminine, you do not get your energy by taking from others. You do not get your energy by putting your karma on others. You do not blame people for your stuff. You take full self-responsibility for your part in actions. You don't take over responsibility. You don't take on other people's karma. You don't take on other people's lessons. But you can pray for them. You will ask for extra support. You will ask for them to help be healed. You will ask for them to come into wholeness and sovereignty supported by Creator. That's how you still help them, but you don't take on what is not yours either. And in doing that, you create this purity of being, and you create this freedom that sometimes people, they subconsciously don't even know how to handle that in their energy field, because they're so used to that siphoning and that like tit for tat kind of thing, like, oh, I'm gonna energetically get some sort of reaction out of you so I can be fed emotionally. People don't even know they're doing it. It's like literally trained, and you don't do that. And so sometimes that can be triggering in and of itself subconsciously to other people, because they're like, oh, you're not playing the game. Like, it might be dangerous, right? And so it's like a subconscious thing. The law of authenticity. So kind of what I just was talking about too. You're very, very authentic. You're very, very pure. You really do go to Creator first when you don't like to see things harmed. Even if something has harmed you, you actually don't like to see it harmed either. So you actually will alchemize and neutralize the energy, whether you consciously do this or or if it's just something on autopilot, but you will actually alchemize the energy instead of like, some people are like, oh, I return that energy to sender. You won't even do that. You will literally alchemize it, because you're like, ew, I don't even want that energy on the planet. We're not returning that to sender. We're getting rid of it completely, because that will help both of us heal. And that's how ancient and wise you are, that you do that. And then this authenticity, if you want to go back and look at that 1-1 reading, because it is kind of an extension of that, the authenticity that's coming through here is that you're just starting to not care about other people validating you, or other people mirroring you, or even your environment mirroring you. You're just being so authentic and so pure, and you're seeing so much soul creational frequency come through you, that you are literally in real time seeing it activate people's potentials and activate their highest frequency. And you can also see that people are starving for spirit, and you have engulfed yourself in spirit for so long that you can feed them amply without taking from yourself, because you're sourcing from Creator. And so this is a really beautiful place to be in, and you're just going to become more and more authentic, because you realize also, as you become more and more authentic, as you do not bow to what you think other people need you to be, but you are just you, and you're just honoring that, you notice that you leak less energy, so you have more energy, that you have more vitality, you have more longevity, you age, you might even be reversing aging, and then you're just having more immunity and health balance come in from that, because you're not pretending to be something you're not. You're not putting on a show or a performance, or you're not putting on a mask, and you're not depleting all this energy trying to pretend to be something because of pride or ego, like you see so many other people doing. But again, all of this stuff kind of also sets you apart and can make you feel spiritually isolated, because you're operating from these frequencies that people don't know how to connect to that, and they don't know how to be to that, and your energy calls out such a powerful rising from them that they have to come and meet you, that sometimes it's also why you might feel that isolation. But know that you are a leader, and that the Creator is accelerating their leaders right now, and that resources will come to you once you name it and be clear with what it is that you need, so that you can go out and have some pleasure and some fun and some joy as you walk this path, because leaders often can be alone for a time, because you're forging something, you're building something, you're birthing a vision that other people might interfere with, so you need to be isolated for that, for protection, or they just don't really understand it yet, and until you birth it fully, then they come on board, because now they can see it, because they couldn't visualize it before with you. And it doesn't mean they didn't believe in you then, they just couldn't see it. And then people will come and add to your journey. So that's also coming in for you. And then the universal law of desire. So we had the desire over here too. Just letting desires come up, that what you want is wanting you as well. And that desire wouldn't be in you if it wasn't meant to be had from you, but it's also from a purified place. It's not an ego desire. And I feel like the collective that I'm speaking to, if you're not already there, you're just on the edge of fully letting go of your ego and really understanding what is soul desires and what is ego desires, and being able to work in the 3D world and the 5D world. As this change occurs, you've really mastered this like balance where you can still work in 3D things that are crumbling, but then anchor the 5D within them, which solidifies them again, but solidifies them in the new, and then brings about your desires. But they're not from ego, they're from soul, which accelerates their manifestations faster as well. And for those of you that understand what I'm talking about, that's why it's happening for you. That might be a little bit confusing because it's kind of hard to explain through words. It's more of like a lived experience. Okay, I want to pull a few more cards and see where we're going, what's coming for you. Okay. Moon in a couple days, so let's pull some moon energy. Wow. So gratitude is your superpower. Like you, Sagittarius energy is important, fiery energy, creational energy, but that's what that desire is a creational energy, fire. But seeing the bigger picture again has come up, practicing gratitude. So you have a bird's eye view of things. You are able to see the bigger picture, although sometimes that can be a heavy burden, just with the way the energetics of the planet are and the loneliness, like I said, that can arise from that, or the pockets of aloneness, but you can overcome those by practicing gratitude. The frequency of gratitude that you have, that will come in and serve you and will sustain you, and it will fill all of that need that you might feel like you're wanting, or if there's any lack still lingering inside of you, that's where the gratitude's going to come in, and that's what this full moon energy is bringing into us. And then seeing the bigger picture. How have your contributions helped this planet? How can the things that you think are insignificantly small contributions that you may have made, tiny moments in a person's life, could have changed their life forever? Okay, you are a starseed, you are a light worker. People gravitate to your field, and there's nothing by accident. Everything is synchronistic. So you have made a big impact just by talking to someone. Maybe someone told you their stuff in a grocery store. Maybe someone told you something they had never told anybody else, and you were there for them in such a way, and you gave them a divine perspective that they needed, that is so natural and normal to you, but you don't understand that it's not natural and normal to other people. There are legions of people out there that don't believe in anything. They've lost love. They don't have creator. They don't sleep at night. They're spiritually starving. And you gave them that food and that nourishment, and it could have shifted everything for them. And you've done this thousands and thousands and thousands of times over, my angels are showing me, and you don't know. Like, you do, but you don't. You're almost so humble you won't look. And I'm not saying this so that you look and you're like, I did this. I think I already said this, but it's you also just, you're allowed to be proud of yourself. You're allowed to be in divine pride, not ego pride, divine pride. And you're allowed to see, like, okay, I do make a difference. My actions and my sacrifices and everything that I committed to that is coming forth, it made a difference. Okay. So anytime you need a new perception, I think you're going through a huge perception shift right now. Like, you're just going to wake up in the next few days and it's just going to be, your world's going to look completely different to you. And it's going to bring this confidence in through. And I noticed that there was like a collective patterning in my private readings, and even in some of the challenges that I've went through in the last little while, of where people pleasing in light workers was coming to an end. And it was so interesting because, like, I could see the variance with people, or even in my own brain, of like when you could see how you used to be, like you were literally shown because your brain wanted to do that pattern again, but you literally couldn't do it. And you were literally like, no, I've got to stay true to myself. And something new expressed and emerged from you, whether it was through words or actions or just saying no or whatever. And then this is more perception shifts are coming in. This is the coding and the frequencies right now. Every new moon is bringing in new coding and frequencies, or like new, by new I mean restoration of the truth and things that we've forgotten but that are actually true, and proper definitions by creator. And the full moon is removing anything that's toxified, anything that's corrupted, anything that's not true, anything that's blocking us or holding us back. And that will shift your perception. So you're going to go through pockets of times like this where all of a sudden you're just going to wake up and everything looks so different and changed. If you're not already there, trust the mystery. Trust the mystery, the magic, the primordial darkness, not evil darkness, primordial, beautiful, nourishing growth darkness. Trust that. And some of you might be in that incubation stage, because I think there was a butterfly somewhere. Yeah, butterfly here. You're in that incubation stage where you're in the cocoon and you can kind of see the light through your cocoon, but you're also in this darkness because you're being gastrated. You're very sensitive. You can't be in the world yet because you're not fully formed and grown. So some of you are, that's what this cocoon all is that I've been talking about this whole reading, and you're coming out of that, and you went into it because you needed some healing and some growth, but this was from prayers that you called in because you got really serious and really ready that, like, this is what I want, creator. I'm tired of this. You put your foot down. I'm tired of these things happening. I am not available for this anymore, and this is what I want. This is how I want to show up. I'm not going to play in these tiny ego dramas anymore. I'm not going to stay stuck here. I'm not going to hold myself back anymore. My container is too small and I've finally seen it. So stop putting yourself in too small. The container is coming up here too. Okay, so then that's the Baird. And the Baird is partly the beginner as well, right? But using music, poetry, myth, history, storytelling, either to tell your story to help others, or use those capacities to ignite divinity within yourself. Like, sometimes when I just need to pick me up, I go to what I call the Word of God, and it'll be different books or courses, or it'll be poetry or different music, right? Or different myths and history, because that helps to align me with my past life and open up different Akashic record pieces. Okay? And then also, what kinds of stories, this was reversed. So what kind of stories are you telling yourself? Are you still stuck in old stories of ways of being? Like, well, I was always like this in the past and this hasn't manifested, so maybe I'm like this still. But you can actually feel and see the new coming out of you, but you're still clinging to those past stories. So check for that. Okay? Because you are stepping into pride, and you're stepping into like divine pride, divine leadership, humbleness. Most of you don't even want to be a leader, but that's how you're going to make the best leaders, and Spirit's preparing you for that. And that's why you've been chosen to be a leader, is because we need more humble leaders that don't want to lead, but they will lead with sovereignty and love and forgiveness and mercy and compassion, but strength, owning their yeses and their nos, knowing what is best for the highest good of massive amounts of people, knowing when to serve tough love, knowing when is actual harm, or when someone's just uncomfortable in a capacity of growth that they had to be put into. Okay, this beauty is just merging from you, and I don't even think you see it. I don't even think you see how beautiful all of this is coming out of you for. Like, some of the stuff from just being in survival mode for so long, some of it, like, now don't even know if you know that even in survival mode, divinity was pouring through you. And it's so beautiful. And like I said, that nourishment to people and that what you gave them. And then also, remember I said you're in the cocoon too, so you're not even at completion. So it's just going to be more beauty emerging through you. And the perception shift and all of this focus on gratitude. Like, what is it in your life that you have to be grateful for right now? And all the blessings that you've already received that you might not have been thankful for. That's going to just put you in such a place of loving your life and just feeling so impacted by the beauty with which your life is. This was supposed to be a quick reading. Apparently I don't know how to do those. Okay, so magic, coincidence, synchronistic events. So butterflies might be your sign. Okay, maybe you need to spend time in the trees here, it's showing me. You're not being shown your path forward right now. The creator's showing you only one kind of step at a time because you're meant to let go of trust, you're meant to hold trust and let go of control, toxic control, right? And sometimes some of us that I'm talking to here, we've been through trauma and we don't mean to control to harm. It's not an ego control. It's not like a power, greed control. It's a control that we want to keep our environment safe because we couldn't trust it when we were younger, or past life stuff is coming up too lately. There's been a lot of cellular looping of past life traumas that we've also had to deal with, of like forgiving humanity for ways in which they hurt us, harmed us, treated us in the past, or just ruptures, wars, those kinds of things. So that has also been coming up. And this is healing within yourselves right now, and you have a lot of divine support doing that. And just know, every time you see a lot of ravens, like a whole cluster of ravens or crows, that means a lot of stuff is birthing and manifesting for you. And then when you see those groups of crows, or even one or two, sit with them and see, what are they telling you? What is the message? What is birthing or manifesting for you right now? What do you need to know? Maybe sometimes when I just see one or two crows, I know that I'm being protected. Right? Or I see one or two crows and I'm like, oh, I know that means keep going. And then when I see clusters of them, flocks of them, I'm like, oh man, there's huge things birthing for me right now. This is so magical and powerful. I remember once a wedding I attended, oh my God, there was thousands of crows there. Thousands of crows. And now that I think about it, now fast forward 4 or 5 years into the future, that person went through a really hard time with illness in the body, and that marriage saw her through it. That marriage was her rock and her sovereignty, and it's made them stronger than ever. And they are more united than ever and more in love than ever. And those crows, I said there's just something so big happening, and they got married on 8/8 and the 8 portal, you know? So just really, really beautiful to watch out for those crows and those ravens. Okay? I always see crows and ravens. You actually had ravens more than once, and you had white raven spirit, which is that's a very powerful blessing. This shows like 6/6 is like angels say, do not worry about material wealth, because you have blessings coming in, that all the resources that you have been calling in, because you have been clear. Some of you need to get more clear, but most of you have been clear that I'm talking to here. Those blessings are coming in. The magic, the synchronicities. And you're going to know, like, Creator's going to show you, this was me. I helped orchestrate this. From your commitment, from your spiritual devotion, from your spiritual discipline, this was me. You deserve this. This was also you, because you chose things that gave great deposits into your universal bank account. It's a huge theme coming through again. Okay. Let's close up the reading with some crystals. So I meant to pull one, but 2 popped out of the deck. So we got moss, agate, you might feel inclined to work with, or stromalite, and rare success and sacred ecosystem. So remember, I just talked about these large, huge blessings coming through, and they're going to be so perfectly timed and so, how to explain this? Oh my gosh, I'm like getting so excited about it. I'm losing my words. So perfectly timed, they'll just be so, like it's just gonna blow your mind, because you're gonna be like, whoa. Like, this is just the accumulation of everything that I ever wanted and ever thought that I needed, and it's just so specific to you, the way that it shows up, and all the little like alignment pieces, that it's just the most powerful thing. And stromalite's a really powerful stone to work with, because it just really is there for those souls that are really anchoring this 5D consciousness in. There are souls that are really in it. Like, they are really in it. They are checking their Akashic records. They are checking their past lives. They're, and this is not to devalue anyone's contributions, but you're one of those rare ancient souls that you are going to ascend as well soon. You don't have to stay on earth very much longer. You're really in harmony and balance with the ecosystem around you, and you create ecosystems within which to manifest because you've come in such alignment with your soul. And then there's other groups of people that are spiritually dabbling right now. They haven't really embodied stuff. They're still accessing things from their mind. But even those, everyone still is contributing to the greater whole of things. They are still going through an awakening, and they're still helping. And all of it is still anchoring positive, beautiful light and energy. And then there's still people that are sleeping. There's still people that are still trying to cling on to what is crumbling, and they are not letting go, but even that has a purpose. Everything is part of God's plan, but you are about to be shown like rare success. So like, I can't even put into words the blessings that are coming to you. And honestly, because this is a collective reading, I'm seeing so many different things. For some of you, it's going to be resource as well. Some of you, it's going to be relationships. Some of you, it's going to be like years of working on a business and it's taking off. Some of you, it's going to be like some inheritances that come in spiritually and physically. And maybe both for both of you for that, but it's just really beautiful, magical things are coming in. Like 2026, it's going to be the year of the fire horse as well. And so just make sure you're regulating yourself, regulate your nervous system. Don't, I heard something the other day, it was like, don't gallop forward. You're going to want to gallop through all of these things, and don't do that. And it's just like, it's very good timing, but the horse also is aid. So there's just so much more divine aid coming through. And these are the last pieces of things to clean up. And then you're just going to be on your way, manifesting like a maverick, helping so many people. Your service work is going to expand. You are going to create communities and ecosystems that actually help the planet and help other communities, because hurt people hurt things. So when you get more people not hurting themselves, then they don't want to hurt others, and then they also start caring for the planet by default. And then we all start to come into alignment, and the more that our energy frequencies sync up, even if we're not connected or talking to one another, or even know of each other, that connects into the ley lines and the grids of the heart and womb web, and we all end up linking up and syncing up, and then that light just starts to expand and expand and expand. And light is 10,000 times more powerful than any evil, and that's what we need to bring in the tipping point of this planet, and that's what you're contributing to. So work on those shadows, release any kind of stress, keep getting outside, going for walks, getting in nature if you can. If not, like, buy a walking pad and walk. Heal yourself. Sometimes it's boring to be healthy, but be healthy. Purify your body, purify your vessel. Okay, your body is a sacred covenant. It's a sacred vehicle and vessel, and Creator needs it purified, because as you purify it, more spiritual energy comes through you as well. Okay, I love you. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, because that's a spiritual exchange that we get, and then it helps me tap into your energy and give you more readings. If you want to book a reading with me, all the links will be down into the bio, and all the links and information will be down in the bio. And I hope you have a beautiful, lovely day.